All right, my name is James Shepard. I'd like to thank everybody for taking time to join me. We are going to talk today about 3 ways to close more merchant accounts. And we're going to take about 5 minutes for just a really quick 4 or 5 screen PowerPoint that I want to show you. And then once we're done talking about these 3 ways to close more merchants, we're then going to jump into the Instant Quote tool. And I'm going to do a demo designed to show 3 different individuals how they can leverage our tool to close more merchant accounts. The first is going to be, we're going to talk about individual reps. Then we're going to talk about the medium ISO, small to medium ISO that's got some team members, less than 25 team members, how you can leverage the tool for your agents and for yourself. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about enterprise level processors and ISOs that have more than 25 team members and how we've created different features for you to help you close more deals. I'm really excited about doing this demo for you, so let's dive right in and talk about 3 ways to close more merchants. So, my journey in the merchant services industry is probably like many of you on here. You may be at one of these phases. I saw an ad on, I think it was Career Builder, for a processor that was hiring agents. So I responded to that ad and I was basically recruited into the industry. I did not get very good training at the beginning. And so I kind of got out in the field and really struggled for the first 2 or 3 weeks of like, what in the world is this? I went to search online and couldn't find anything really helpful. And so once I was, then I went out in the field and was really successful and sold hundreds of merchant accounts. Then I moved on to hire sub agents, create an ISO, and eventually had an ISO with hundreds of agents. Now I sold off all the ISO side of the business, and now my focus and my company's focus is exclusively on helping other people, whether they're individual reps, small ISOs, or enterprise clients, close more merchant accounts. And so we do that in a variety of ways. Today I want to talk to you about why we built InstantQuoteTool.com and why we have invested so much time and money into this solution to solve these really specific problems. So there's only 3 ways you can close more merchant accounts, and none of them are going to surprise you. Number 1, make more contacts. So whether you're an individual rep, you want to close more merchants, talk to more merchants. If you're a small ISO, you need your reps to talk to more merchants. If you're enterprise client, you need your reps to talk to more merchants. It's all the same. Talk to more merchants. Number 2, close at a higher percentage. So get more of those contacts to set up merchant services with you, right? Pretty simple stuff. Number 3 is shorten the sales cycle. And so, if you can close a merchant on 1 or 2 or 3 visits instead of 7, 8, or 9 visits, you're going to have more time to close more deals, and you're going to improve the sales cycle time, which is going to allow you to make more money and close more deals. So how do we do this? Why? This looks, you look at that and you think, well, of course. How simple is this? Obviously, right? Make more contacts, close at a higher rate, and shorten the sales cycle. Why isn't this happening in the merchant services industry? And, I would contend that one of the main reasons this is not happening on many of the ISOs that I've consulted for is technology. We are, a decade behind in many cases in the industry. And one of my primary goals is to fix that problem, or at least do my best to offer an alternative solution. So how do we make more contacts? Well, in my experience, you hear a lot about, and I even talk in my videos a lot about work harder, and that is my pitch to the individual agent for sure, right? Work harder. Get out there, do your work harder. That's great. But the truth is, confidence equals contacts. Confidence equals contacts. It only takes about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours to walk into 20 businesses? Did you know that it only takes about 3 hours to set up 4 or 5 quality appointments for yourself over the phone? So it's not necessarily that these agents out in the field, whether you're an individual agent and you're struggling with this, or you're an ISO or enterprise, it's not that the individual agent is not putting in enough time to make contacts. The problem is that they pull up in front of a merchant location and they think, what am I going to say when I go in there? I just don't have the confidence. What am I going to show them? What marketing materials do I have? Over the phone, they're stopping. They're not dialing because they're just nervous and they don't have the confidence. And so we need to find ways to create more confidence. So what I'm going to show you today with our new proposal templates is a big part of our solution for that. ISOs and enterprise clients need a way to easily distribute proposals and marketing information to the agents in a way that they can easily share that information with the merchant so that they have more confidence, so that when they pull up to that merchant location or when they get ready to dial the phone, they know if I make a contact, I can share some great information with them about our solution. And so we're going to talk about how you can do that. And even the individual users, some things we've added there as well. Next, sales flow equals close percentage. Sales flow equals close percentage. I have spent thousands of hours either in the field or on the phone with merchant sales representatives. I've gone to dozens of consulting events where I've been a trainer and I've trained reps. And I had a misconception early on, and I'm the first to admit that. My misconception early on was that if I just gave these reps more training about the pieces of the puzzle, they would be able to put it together. If I could help them understand each piece of the puzzle, then they could put it together. And actually, that's not the case. The problem is more assembling the pieces in the right order. It's the sales flow. For instance, the number one reason that merchant salespeople who are making contacts are not making sales is that they are asking for information before they have provided enough information. Let me say that again. The number one reason why merchant sales representatives are not making sales, if they're making contacts and they're not closing deals, it's normally because they are asking for information before they have provided enough information. What am I talking about? Well, many times it's the statement. Even in my early videos, when I was out selling, I was asking for the statement early on in the process. And boy, that really killed me. I mean, the ones that I lost, almost all came from me asking for information. And if you are an individual rep right now and you think about this, think about the last 10 people that you lost. When did you lose them? You lost them when you asked them for information before you had provided information about yourself. Maybe some, you maybe gave them your name, your business card, but you didn't really give them anything significant. And so the instant quote tool is designed to flip the sales flow around. And instead of you going in there and saying, hey, I'd like to give you some information, but before I do, I need you to tell me all about your business and give me all your information. You're able to flip that around and come in and say, hey, I don't even want to look at your statement. I don't even want to see any of that. All I want to do is email you a proposal right now that will show you what our pricing is. And if it looks like something that makes sense or that warrants further investigation, then we can take a look at your statement and we can see how it matches up. But I wouldn't dream of asking you for your statement until you had my best rates in writing, because I want you to know how sincere and honest I am and transparent about my pricing. Sales flow equals close percentage. Sales cycle time in our industry is bloated because of two things. The statement analysis department still exists. I wish it didn't, but it does. It still exists. It shouldn't exist. There's no reason for it to exist. It's not useful any longer. And I'll show you that in a little bit. And the other reason is that not only does the statement analysis department add additional time to this process, but when they have added this extra day or 2 or 3 to the process, what they send to the agent that is then presented to the merchant is generally incomprehensible by anybody but the most experienced agents. If you ask the individual agents on here and said, hey, let's look at a recent statement analysis spreadsheet that you got. What is your level of comprehension of this spreadsheet? The vast majority of those agents would say on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 3 or 4, the more experienced agents an 8 or a 9. But no matter how you look at it, it's not very good. They're not really understanding it very well. So how do we fix this problem? Well, welcome to instantquotetool.com. And by the way, make sure you stick around. At the end of this, I'm going to make you guys an offer that's going to save you about $1,000 our solution here, as I'm talking about the individual agents now. So if you're an individual agent, I have one offer that you're definitely going to want to take advantage of, because it literally will not be available a week from today. Next Monday, it will not be available, and I'll talk about it in a minute. It's the training. So I'm not going to get into the training much here. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I do have an offer on that where I'm going to give you something for free just because you're on here, and I want to make sure you take advantage of it before we change things up a week from today. But how do we solve these problems? Well, let me show you what creating a quote should look like for a merchant services professional today. Okay, I'm here on my home screen, and by the way, this looks great on a mobile device. We designed the entire thing with mobile devices in mind, but I'm showing it to you on a desktop because we're doing a webinar. We're going to click on quote. We want to create a new quote. That's a good place to start. Okay, and hold on one second here. I forgot I loaded up an old version that I don't have anymore. Hold on one second. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Just going to get logged in here. I created a new login just for this event and forgot to log into it. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we're logged in here. And so what we do is we click on quote right here. Then right here, we click on the industry. Now, this is an area where we've made huge improvements, and you're going to see these again a week from today. But I wanted to talk to you about it because I really want to get your feedback. So for those of you that are already using the tool, one of the most requested features we've had is right here. We have different business types that you can select, okay? But, you know, there's definitely some ones that are missing. We don't have e-commerce, some other ones on there. We now have the ability in a huge database to add pretty much any business type that you want, except for tier 2, tier 3. So if you have business types that you want us to add, please email support@instantquotetool.com and we will add those to our list. But we're going to probably add 20 or 30 new business types to this list next week from our new database. So let's click on what is your industry. So again, if we click on quote, we come to this screen. We click on the business type. If we do not have the statement handy, because again, we didn't ask them for the statement, we don't want to ask for the information, then we just fill it out right here. Put in their volume. As soon as we put in their volume, it's going to run a little algorithm in the background and tell you that the industry average for a quick service restaurant that does 10,000 in volume, the industry average fees is $286.23. Now, why do we do that? Again, we are thinking about the salesperson. So the reason we do this is because it makes a great conversation piece. When you put this $10,000 in volume in, that is literally the only required field. That's it. There is no other required field. You don't have to do anything else. I could click create right now. With only their business type and their total volume, I've just created a proposal. Okay? Then I could click a PDF if I wanted to and generate a PDF document. Okay? There we go. I got a PDF. I could do an email right here, send via email, and I could send out the email to them. Okay, and they're going to get a link they can click on to come back and view the proposal or download a PDF document. Also here, you'll notice I'm in the agent view. If I click on merchant view, you'll see this is what a merchant would look like this for a merchant. But if I'm in the agent view, I can actually see my approximate residuals, the interchange amount. So you can see how simple it is. Let's go through it one more time. So again, you're in the field, you're talking to a merchant, you go in, I say, hi, my name is James Shepard, and the reason I stopped by, I'm sure you guys get barraged with people talking about credit card processing, merchant services. We actually have several programs. Some of them can save you up to 90% if you're offering cash discounting. And what I'd like to do is, I don't want your statement. I don't even want to know what your fees are. All I want to do is take 2 seconds of your time, and I just want to email you my pricing so you can take a look at it. And if you're interested, then we can move forward. If not, no hard feelings. So let me ask you just one question, and then I'll email you the proposal. I know that you're a pizza shop, so I've already got that in here. What would you say is the average volume that you do a month in credit card, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, like 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month? What's the average? And they're like, oh, 20,000. So I type 20,000, I hit create, and I say to them, great, well, I can tell you that our proposed fees would be around $500 a month. It looks like a little over $500 a month would be our fees for you. And so we have an advanced system, an algorithm that actually calculates all this stuff for you. Now, how does that compare with what you guys are currently paying? Any idea what you're currently paying? And they say, yeah, we're paying $600. So you click details here. So existing fees, They say they're paying $600. So we say, okay, let's put that in here. So they're paying $600 a month. Save. Well, now we can go back here to our proposal and we say, hey, you know what? I've got great news for you. It looks like, we're going to be able to save you. If you go back to the merchant view, you can actually see the savings the way we have here annually in 3 years. You say we can actually save you $3,586 over the course of a 3-year agreement. Let me go ahead and send you this via email, though. What's the best email for you? Put in their email address, change the subject line and the message if you want, and click send. And now they have your quote. So it's that easy to create a quote. Now, how does this really work behind the scenes? There's a couple things that make this all work. Go back to the agent view here. The two things that really make everything as simple as it is, first of all, is our interchange algorithm. And so if you click on details here, you can see that, you put in the business type and the volume. We have an algorithm that looked at thousands of statements from quick service restaurants and came up with the most statistically probable interchange table for that particular merchant. This is very different from anything else that you'll see out there in the marketplace. A lot of companies now are coming out because of our tool. They're coming out and saying, well, we predict interchange as well. Oh, you do? Really? Okay, how do you do that? Well, we, pick a percentage out of thin air and use it, No, you can't just pick a percentage. Interchange varies dramatically based on the average ticket size, based on the business type, based on many different variables. And so you need to have an interchange table created, and then you add up all of the interchange to come up with that amount in order for it to be accurate, okay? However, even saying all that, sometimes we're off a little bit. What if you get the statement and you see that their interchange is actually $360, right? Well, we want to make sure it's accurate, so we can click edit here. And now we can go through and put all the information in from the statement. This is another big feature request we had in the new version that we put in place. So you can put all the detailed information from the statement in here. And then down here at the bottom, you can see it says estimated as 317. Well, you could say, no, it's not. It's actually 342.34, whatever, exact, Click update. Now what's going to happen is our algorithm, which runs about 10 times faster than it used to, our algorithm literally goes through and edits, does a reverse. We now have a reverse algorithm that will actually fix the interchange table and say, oh, okay, we didn't realize that. So interchange is actually 342.34. Okay, well, we'll make the interchange table that's most statistically probable for that. Now check this out. This will really, this is one of my favorite things about it. If you click on edit here, let's say we try to set the interchange at, $30, right? Click on update. Let's see what happens. So we have interchange of $30 here. Now, if you go down, you'll see that the only way that's possible is if they have one transaction that was $7,653 and it was a regulated check card. So it literally does update everything to be exactly accurate. What if we edited our interchange one more time, and let's say we edited it and we said the interchange was $900 on 20,000 in volume. Unable to estimate interchange table for this amount. So it will limit you at some point, and it will say, no, we can't, there's just no way. There's no way to make an interchange table that will work for that. So my point of all that is we estimate the interchange, but you can go back and adjust it. You can change all the amounts so that it's an exact one there. Now, let's talk about some new features that we've added here that are pretty cool. So if you go back in here to your profile, a couple things I want to show you. The first one is this instant quote URL. This is a pretty nifty little thing. So this instant quote URL has your username at the end of it, and so you can change your username and edit this URL. You could put that link on Facebook or anything else, and that link is going to take them. Whoops, let's put that in here. Oh, I didn't copy it. There we go. But this link, I'll just click on it. This link is going to take them directly to a new quote. And so this is where you could send a merchant to get their own quote. Okay, so that's one thing that we have. It's pretty neat. Oops, plug back in here. Okay, another thing that we have, if we go back here to our profile, is we now have the ability for you to customize your PDF and to add a logo. You'll notice I didn't have a logo on mine, but I could go in here and I could add a logo, and that would show up on the proposal. Okay, so if I clicked on edit, and I could grab a logo here. Oh, let's see what logo I want to use. Let's say I want to use this IQ logo here. and update. And now I have a logo on there. All right. Then down here we have manage programs. Now this is where it starts to get pretty cool. Okay. I want to click on this Interchange Plus one right here. So if we click up here, this is our programs. Now for those of you that are not familiar with the tool, a program basically combines your Schedule A with your compensation and your pricing constraints. And so it puts all of this together so that we do all the complicated stuff for you in our support team, but it's all done behind the scenes so that when you're in front of a merchant, everything works quickly. But one of the things we have here is we now have conditionals. So let's say that, I'll show you two different kinds of conditionals. Let's say we have the VMD volume at 25 basis points. Let's say that we actually want it to default to 25 basis points, but if the merchant does over 30,000 in volume, well, then we want it to default to 15 basis points. Well, that's pretty easy, actually. You just go here, merchant activity condition, and we can say when the VMD volume is less than 30,000, then we want it to be this 25 basis points, right? Okay, let's go back here, and let's make a new fee, and we're going to call this one VMD high volume. And so this is on VMD volume. And again, you can add literally any fee in any structure that you could possibly think of. So let's say it's got 15 basis points as our default, 5 is our cost, 5 basis point minimum, and we can put it as high as we want and save that. So here's our VMD high volume. Now let's go in and let's set that conditional to be equal to or greater than 30,000. So this is only going to apply when the VMD volume is greater than or equal to 30,000. So we now have a program where one price is going to show up when the merchant does less than 30,000. Another one is going to show up when it's more than 30,000. Okay. All right. So that's one conditional. Let me show you another conditional, and then I'm going to show you how we can add some new proposal templates here and customize things a little bit more. We're going to make a new feature. We're going to call this the Clover Mini. So let's say this program includes something called the Clover Mini, and we want to sell that Clover Mini terminal. So let's make a new fee here. Let's add a new monthly fee. And let's say our Clover Mini, we'll call this the Clover software fee. And let's say this is a monthly fee of $39. And let's say that $39 is all cost, so it has to be $39. And again, I'm going pretty fast because I just want to show you some of the highlights here. So let's go down to this Clover software. And now let's add this as a feature conditional. And we're going to make this conditional on the Clover Mini and save that. So now we have a fee. So you could do things like authorize.net, for instance, where you have a monthly fee, a transaction fee, basis points, all that. And you could make that all conditional on the feature of authorize.net. Okay. Now, one other thing I want to do though, let's go back here and now let's go to our proposal templates. Now, I'm going to be making a bunch more of these available to you, and I'll send out emails to announce them. One that I have in here right now is Clover Mini. So let's add that as an option for this one. Let's also add the summary, and let's add standard. So we have 3 different proposal templates that we can use. So now let's run a quote again. And let's go quick service, 20,000. And let's go ahead and put in, and let's say that their current fees are $700. And by the way, at this point, we could also click on advanced mode if we have the statement, and we can just put all this in from the statement directly. All right. But for now, let's go back to our simple mode here. So again, we'll do $20,000 and $700 in total fees. You could also, of course, edit the average ticket and all that, but we're just going to create something real quick. Okay, so now what we can do is if we go to the compare programs, we can see our different options that we have here. So we have a couple different options. We have some cash discounting in here, which we also support. But we're going to choose this Demo Interchange Plus, which is the one we were just working on. And we're going to change the template to Clover Mini is actually the one that it's on. And so you can drag and drop these in the program section to show which one's going to be the default. But the Clover Mini happened to be at the top. So let's go back here. So now let's take a look at the merchant view. Well, the merchant view, I added some information about the Clover Mini here. Really nice stuff. Talks about Clover Mini. You scroll down, oh, here's all of our savings information. Okay. Keep in mind, you could send this via email to a merchant so that when they click on it and come back, oh, wait, look at all this Clover Mini stuff. Okay. If we click on the PDF, I did it a little bit different and I actually put it down at the bottom. Okay, so Clover Mini is down here at the bottom on the second page. But I want to attach that. You can see my logo is up here now, by the way. Now, the reason I showed you this is just to give you a very, very small taste of what we can do. So we can pretty much with these proposal templates build anything imaginable that you want, okay? Now, I'm not going to say that we're always going to do that for free. We have to build these. It's not like you can go in there and just upload stuff. We have to, because we want it to look good on a mobile device. So these have to be built in HTML. They have to be mobile friendly. So I am going to be building a bunch of these that are going to be available to you. So for instance, I'm going to have some in there for all the different Clover systems this week. So you can go through and choose that. I'm going to do one for the Point Terminal. I'm going to do one for VX520. So some of these equipment options that are pretty standard, I'm going to make those available to you so you can use them. But if there are some other ones you would like to see, let me know. And when I say that, I'm even talking about totally changing the way that this stuff down here, like we're making a new one that shows the effective rate. I've had several people ask for that. We're going to make one that shows the date of the proposal and the name of the merchant. Some people have asked me for that. Now, from the perspective of this is for the individual, for the ISO, we can really go the extra mile and we can do just, again, literally anything and just custom code anything that you want, literally. All right. So here we have all the stuff for the individual. I want to show you one more thing here for the individual, and then I'm going to ask you a question here in 1 second because I want to get some feedback, and then I'm going to jump into the ISO side and show you what it's looking like for an ISO. A couple things that we added here, if you click on prospects in our CRM, we added the ability to export all of your prospects. We also added the ability to show incomplete tasks. And then we also added a name search here, so you could search for stuff. Let's see. Let's say I don't think I named any of these actually. But anyway, it'll search the business name, the contact name, the email, or the phone number. So trying to make our CRM side of it a little bit more convenient. One question I have for you guys. So I'm going to put all of the hands down here. Let me ask you a question. Over to the right, if you raise your hand, I'm just curious. How many of you are currently not using a CRM, or you hate the CRM that you're currently using? Because just raise your hand over to the right. If you're currently not using a CRM or you hate the one that you're using, we're kind of considering putting a little bit more effort into making the CRM actually more of a full feature CRM. But I'm just curious how many of you would actually use it if we had that. So how many of you do not currently use a CRM or you hate the one you have? Okay. So it looks like about a third of you actually. Okay. Well, we're going to do some work on that. You'll see some stuff coming down the pike in the next probably 30 days. Just adding some different formatting, making it easier to segment the list, tracking your stages, things like that. And so we're going to be working on that. So thank you for that feedback. All right. Let's jump over into the ISO. And then, by the way, if you asked a question, just hang around and they'll answer your question. Actually, I do want to tell you this one little thing. And again, this just applies to individual users. So let me explain something really quick. Some of you may love this. Some of you may hate this. Well, all of you should love this because you're gonna get a really good deal. So for a long time, we've included all of my training courses in here in the individual version. This was really stupid on my part. So this is me being overly generous and not a good capitalist. So we have people that sign up for our 30-day trial. They watch all of our courses. And then when it comes to pay the $29, they don't even pay that. They just cancel because they watched all of our courses for free. These courses, almost all of them are going to be gone a week from Monday. Not for you if you're already in the tool though, okay? If you're already an active user of the tool, you will have lifetime unlimited access to all of these courses. So I'm not taking away anything anybody already has. What that means also is for those of you that are not currently active, you would be crazy not to sign up. Be aware if you cancel your service, if you stop paying for your service and you go back in, you will have 4 or 5 courses in there. The rest of them are going to be at a new application that we have over at CC Sales Pro, where we're going to be charging for the training courses. Okay, and you buy the training courses there for a one-time fee, and then you get access to them. To buy all of these training courses is going to end up costing probably around $1,000. We have tons and tons of amazing content in here and training. And you can get all of that basically for $29 a month and really for free because the tool is $29 a month. We just threw the training in at no extra cost. So I just want to make all of you aware that, again, if you cancel your service or if you are not signed up and you go to sign up in 2, 3, 4 days, somewhere in there, we're slowly moving all of these courses off Again, not if you're already signed up, but for a new user that comes in, we're slowly moving the courses that auto-assign to new users. We're moving them to the new paid system that's going to be separate from the tool. To me, the tool, $29 a month for the tool is a ridiculously good deal in the first place. There's no reason for us to throw all of our training in here for free. And so we're not going to be doing that. But again, if you're already signed up, we're not taking courses away from anyone. So just be aware of that. So that was the deal I kind of wanted to talk about the individuals. Now, having said that, for the ISOs, which we're going to jump in now, this is an ISO workspace. ISOs do get all of the training included for there. So we have two packages for the ISOs, and I want to just talk about that real quick. So the two packages that we have for the ISOs is we have a ISO package that's $199 a month. The $199 a month is going to be a completely branded solution, a full custom domain for you. We could put it at a subdomain like, training.yourcompany.com, or we could put it at a full domain like, xyzcompanytraining.com, whatever. And so that's $199 a month. You get up to 25 users, unlimited access, all of our courses, all of our, you can use our quote tool, unlimited everything there. Then if you have more than 25 users, you're going to want our Enterprise Edition. Enterprise is $695 a month. And with the Enterprise Edition, you also are going to get our full reporting dashboard. Now, some of this stuff, this is just a test that I just set up, but you can look by day and see different users and how they used it. If you could look at, today, you'll see I logged in as support and I skipped to the end of a video. You can literally see what quizzes were completed by your agents. You can go by course and look at it that way. We also have subtenants. So if you have, if you're an enterprise client, you may have, sub ISOs that want their own branded version of the tool, and you can provide that to them. There's a small fee for that for each one that you set up, but you have the ability to do that and then see reporting on those. You also have the ability to set up user groups. And so inside of managing the users, you can do user groups. And then you also can do when you change your colors and logos, we do different logos for the header, for a proposal logo, the little favicon icon up here so that it's fully branded for you. And again, this is just with the ISO version in general, but again, we have solutions for you if you're an ISO. Now, let me just talk about that for one more second. I don't have time to dive into too much detail with the ISO stuff, but let me just say the way that we do this is pretty cool. If you're an ISO, which means you have more than one user that needs to use the tool, and we will give you a deal if if you have 3 people, we're not going to charge you $199 a month. That is our standard price. But if you've got 2 or 3 users, we'll talk about it and we'll give you a deal while you're scaling up. But what we do is we set you up with a totally free account, and we just work with you for 2 or 3 weeks before we even ask you to pay anything. We work with you to make sure it's a good fit. And our support team is amazing with this. We've worked with hundreds of ISOs. We know exactly how to do all this stuff. And we can do a really good job for you. So just reach out to our support team or reach out to me directly, james@ccsalespro.com, and we'll be glad to set you up. But don't go to instantquotetool.com and sign up if you're an ISO. Because if you do that, you're going to be on the individual version, and we want to set you up with your own branded version with your programs and custom Schedule A's and all the stuff that you want. We're going to put all that in there for you, give it to you absolutely for free for usually, again, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on what you need to evaluate. And we'll work with you during that time to get some of your reps on there to use it and try it out and make adjustments for you. So we're always adding new features to the tool. Again, the biggest one I'm excited about for right now is those proposal templates, because there is so much we can do with that. We can make anything you could imagine as far as a proposal goes, and it's going to be really amazing to have that level of customization for the reps. Okay, thanks everybody. Hope you all have an awesome day, and if you have any questions, just email me, james@ccsalespro.com or support@instantquotetool.com.